taking time to talk to me and to really engage with my network. There's so many things that we want to know about this looming government shutdown. People are really concerned, and I think there's also a lot of people who are really confused. Republicans have done an excellent job of trying to get in front of this and place the blame for what is likely to happen on Democrats. What do you say to that, and how can we counter it?
Well, I think the what's being reported objectively is true. Donald Trump had a meeting with Chuck Schumer and with Hakeem Jeffries that we thought we were going to they were going to have a face-to-face conversation and try to avoid this. He said no meeting. The Speaker of the House, Johnson, has let the House go out on recess until beyond the shutdown date. So they're clearly not interested in negotiating because there's no way to get this done but a bipartisan way. Remember, they control the presidency, they control the House, they control the Senate. But to pass it through the Senate, they need at least 7 of our votes. Now, I, for one, am not giving my vote away unless you do something to address the spiraling costs and the healthcare crisis of Americans. Don't come to me for my vote without saying you're going to help somebody as a result. So there has to be a negotiation. But if sides aren't even willing to talk, then they clearly are trying to run our economy, or at least in this case, our budget off the cliff.
Well, our economy, our budget, and the American people. Like, a lot of people are going to hurt because of these actions. And so when we talk about how, you're saying that our Democrats are willing to work with Republicans to do what is in the best interest of the American people. When you talk about that, what are some of the things that you are fighting for in regards to concessions to be willing and comfortable with adding and signing this budget bill?
Right. So Donald Trump has done a lot to hurt people's health care. From Medicaid to these Obama subsidies that are about to run out. He's taken actions against America's well-being. In addition to that, we're seeing rising costs are putting a lot of pressure. Inflation has continued to go up, and the cost of groceries, the cost of household goods, the cost of energy, you can name it, it's going up. So we're simply saying, let's get at the negotiating table and figure out what kind of things we can do to help people. If you're willing to do nothing, then you're not going to get the vote, at least of this one Democrat. So this is a time for us to come together and say, okay, we might not get everything we want. You might not get everything you want, but meet us in the middle somewhere.
And what would be that middle?
So I don't want to hold the negotiation here and show my cards, but I am one of these people that are saying, do something to help Americans meet the rising costs of healthcare or energy or inflation. Do something to help alleviate the 60% of Americans that are really finding it harder and harder to make ends meet.
Senator Booker, you just actually made a really great point, and something that has been heavily debated and dissected on social media platforms. When you said, I'm not going to show my cards right here. A lot of people who do kind of what I do on social media continuously, some would say attack, I would say nitpick the actions of our elected Democratic leaders because they don't know the plan. They don't know what you're doing in regards to how you're fighting back. And I think that what you just said about not showing your cards is key because you cannot reveal too much of the strategy to the other party when you are in the minority and you are the opposition party. So is there any examples of where you or our Democratic leadership have pulled back, haven't shown their hands, and been successful in this current moment to meet the moment?
Well, so first of all, I've been here for about 13 years now. There have been numerous budgets that have passed where we both postured but came to the table, negotiated something out, and came to a deal time and time again. I ran a city. I had negotiations with everybody from unions to developers. I'm not going to shout out my plan, but we found ways to get something done, and often to the benefit, or almost always, to the benefit of my communities. So this is one of those moments where Democrats are simply saying, we are not giving our votes away for free when so many Americans are hurting because of spiraling costs and unable to attain health care. This is one of those moments where we want something. We're not going to telegraph it, but we're not going to do something. We want something that will make people's lives better. And by the way, you're already hearing their leadership start to say, well, maybe we do need to do something on healthcare, but not now, not now. And everybody knows that the biggest pain point for Americans right now is rising costs and difficult to acquire health care. Everybody knows that. So why are you digging in on this position that we are going to do nothing to alleviate the pain of Americans and only what Donald Trump wants? That's unacceptable.
We have seen a historic rollback of American liberties and freedoms under the Trump administration, and a number of it's happening at like a breakneck pace, continuously and consistently. Of all the things that we have seen kind of get rolled back and attacked, which one do you feel is having the biggest impact on the people that you serve?
Look, Donald Trump's administration has been marked by corruption, cruelty, and chaos. And there have been really, really bad things that have been done, from attacks on First Amendment rights, the way they're doing this immigration battle on Americans. What do I mean by that? They're going after a father of American children who's been in this country for 20 years, and this shows up at a hearing, and they're taking them there. There's a lot of things, but when you ask me what's the most painful thing they've done for my constituents, it's driving up the cost of living. Plain and simple. When I am back home in Newark, when I travel up and down the state, everyone tells me that their wages are flat, but their costs continue to go up. And now I might not be able to afford health insurance if those Obama subsidies go away. Now I might not be able to have a health insurance should Medicaid go away. Now I can't afford the groceries that I used to, and I'm now doing everything I can at the dollar store just to get by. That is the biggest pain in our country. And remember, Donald Trump said, I'm going to make costs go down on day one. Well, here it is 9 months in, and the exact opposite is happening. So at this impasse, I am not going to give away my vote unless you hold up to your promises that you said. There are things we can do in this budget to help people. That's the line I'm drawing.
You have been prolific as a fighter in this moment, from your holding the Senate floor for a long time. How many hours was it?
25.
25 hours, to your willingness to engage with the media as well as content creators to get the message out. In that time frame, we've seen a number of wins, even though they haven't been as highly publicized by the media as I would have wanted them to. What has been the most impressive win that you have seen from Democrats in this moment as they fight back as the opposition party?
So look, a lot of things we have tried to do and taken stands on that haven't worked, whether it's stopping bad nominees or calling out. We've tried forcing votes about the tariffs. But there are a lot of things that I actually am proud of that we've done. For example, we have passed 3 bipartisan budget bills out of our Appropriations Committee and off the Senate floor. Now, why is that a big accomplishment? It's because it casts a shadow over everything they're saying right now. There is a bipartisan way forward in the Senate to meet these needs. We're proud of the bills we've passed. There's about 10 more that have to get done, but Donald Trump seems to wanting to try to continue to frustrate that process. I'm a guy that believes there's no Democrat or Republican way in America. We've got to find a way to go forward together, and often that involves difficult, hard-fought compromises. But I'm the guy that's passed bills to liberate thousands of people from prison because of criminal justice reform. I'm the guy that found bills to expand the child tax credit and give people a tax break. We've done those things often in bipartisan ways. Now's one of those moments. That's what we're digging in and fighting for.
When we talk to the American people and the people who are committed to ensuring that democracy in this country continues, what are some words of advice that you can give them in conclusion?
Do not be silent. Don't underestimate the power of your voice. When you see content like this that touches you or speaks to you, share that content. When you see things that you don't like, don't just say it's terrible how he's doing this immigration war. Look up in your community. All across this country, there are people that are joining together, organizing together to do what they can where they are about it. Find ways to do something, even if it's just, I'm going to give $1 to Planned Parenthood because I know Donald Trump is attacking them and trying to close them down. You are more powerful than you know, more capable than you realize, and have a greater ability to affect change than you can understand. Everybody is important. And I will tell you this, in America still, the power of the people is greater than the people in power if you use your power.
Senator Booker, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.